Hi, I'm Wanda with Jimmy Branch Homestead, and today I'm going to be canning okra. So I'm going to start off with the okra needs to be washed. So we're going to throw the whole pods in. We're not going to cut them up yet. And I have a whole row of okra, so I'm picking okra every single day. So this is a few days worth. And then these were from just today. There is some little dirt and debris from the garden on them. I always save our ice cream buckets. They're great for berry picking. And when I'm out in the garden, I like to keep some in the shed out there so that I can just grab and start producing or start picking up the produce. Okay, give them a good scrub there. And then we want to drain them, so I'm just going to kind of throw them in that little colander. This one may be too big, but it feels fairly soft. Some of the bigger ones are soft and a lot of them are very woody. When I start cutting it, I'll know. Ideally is probably in the 3 to 4 or 5 inch range. They're much more tender. And this is an approved canning method. It's best if you can just process it the same day you pick it. Obviously, the fresher the produce, the better it is. But I don't really have enough to can in 1 day or 2 days. I've also freeze-dried okra, if that's something you're interested in. I do have a video out on that. Please check my freeze drying playlist. One thing about okra, it doesn't usually get too dirty. Being on like bushes like a tree. Mine are about tree size now. They're taller than I am. Okay, for the next step in the process, I need to clean the okra. I'm taking the ends off first, and the pigs will love these. And then I'm going to slice them in about 1-inch, 3/4 to 1-inch slices. And these will be great for gumbo. So that's what I'm canning these for today. I haven't tried frying them. I may try frying them after they've been canned and see how that goes. I think I'm going to cut those just a little smaller, maybe 1/2 inch. Well, maybe I'll try some at 1/2 inch and some at 1 inch and see how they turn out. This part won't take too long since they're already cleaned. We're just cutting them up now. Keeping some out for dinner tonight, but there'll be another batch that I have to pick tomorrow, so we'll just get this canned up. I like to have a lot of meal starters and entire meals on my pantry shelf. This winter I did a lot of canning of meals when it's the off season for the produce and I have a little more time to breathe. So if that's something you're interested in, a lot of soups, meats, and stuff like that, go back and check out my canning playlist. You can can these whole if that's what you prefer. But I'd rather just have them ready to do the next thing, and that will be perfect for gumbo. My husband loves gumbo, so I need to start cooking it more. It was a little bit bigger one, but it's still tender, so that's good. Sometimes at that size they're real woody and hard, tough. Okay, I have my okra all cut up, and I have 2 different pots of water coming to a boil. The first one, once it boils, I'm going to dump the okra in, and the okra needs to be covered and boil for 2 minutes. Then we need to drain the okra, pack it into the jars, and cover it with fresh boiling water from the other pot. So I'm just waiting for it to come to a boil. Okay, so our water is starting to boil good. I'm going to go ahead and put the okra in. Let's see. Take it in without splashing me too bad. Well, I had plenty of water in there, more than I needed. Oh well. looks like the water is still boiling. So I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. And by the way, a viewer sent these to me, so thank you so very much. It is a set of 2 digital timers, and in one of my videos I kept burning my arms trying to reach in between 2 canners and trying to deal with the timers. So this will allow me to have 2 separate canners going at once and a timer for each. So thank you so very much to the viewer that sent those to us. They're greatly appreciated. We really appreciate you. Okay, there goes our timer. These out as quickly as possible. I'm going to put them in this basket to drain. Oop, I'm going to have them in this. I'm going to make a mess. Okay. And they're kind of syrupy. I don't know if you've ever tried to can okra before, or I tried freezing it last year where I had to blanch it, and it was a mess with all the syrupy stuff. So I'm sure that's why it's telling us to drain these and put fresh water on rather than the water that we boiled them in here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really syrupy draining through there. So this year I had a new method for freezing okra that wasn't messy. I did not blanch it. And I just did a video on that, I think last week, if you'd like to go back and see that. It was in the freeze drying and turn that burner off. There's still going to be some on it, you just can't get it all off. But I got to get these others out of the water, so. And then we're going to hot pack these into the jars as soon as I get through with this. And then you can put a teaspoon of salt in with the quart and a half a teaspoon in the pint, but it's strictly for seasoning purposes. And since I'm going to use this in gumbo, and the gumbo is going to be seasoned, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to put hot water on these. Okay, finally. Okay, so we are going to fill pint jars today, because that way if we're making a, 4-quart pot of gumbo, I don't have to have such big jars. I had thought about doing it in quarts, but my husband thought it would be better in pints, so I'm taking his advice. So we want to fill it no higher than, we want to make sure we leave 1 inch headspace. And typically what I do for measuring for that is this lip right here is usually 1 inch. So I want to be at or below the rim, where the ring goes. And then we're going to fill it with boiling water. hot. And this is the fresh boiling water, not the water that we cooked the okra in. And it's gonna float a little bit, so. See, it's kind of come up a little bit. Okay, so I am going to debubble. You might be able to see that some of those little bubbles are coming out of there. Okay. And I am using the Superb canning lids. I get these from Azure Standard. And I'm going to, before I put the lid on, I'm going to, this is vinegar that I have in a little pitcher here, just for my ease of use. And we're just going to wipe the rim with that. That way, just in case any of that little syrupy mixture from the okra got on it, it will clean it off to make sure that we get a good seal. Put the canning lid on and a ring to finger tight. So you're going to twist it and then just a little bit more. Okay. Into the canner we go. And I do have this in hot water. I guess I better turn it on so that it will start heating up too. I'm going to start off at medium right now till I get it completely loaded. And I fill your canner to what your manufacturer's recommendations are. My small canner here, it takes 5 quarts of water. And I also put a splash, about 1/4 cup of vinegar in the water in the canner. It helps to keep white from forming. We have really hard water, and otherwise it makes a mess of my jars. It won't hurt them, it just looks terrible. So I like to try to remember to always put vinegar. I like to just kind of bounce it and shake it around so they'll pack in there a little bit better. And then add just a few more. Again, minding the headspace. I can probably put one more over there. Okay, so I do have all of the jars filled and in the canner. And so now I need to turn it on medium to medium high to get it up to temperature. Once I get this up to temperature, my stove burns pretty hot, so I actually turn it down just below medium. So right now I have it on medium high. And we need to put the lid on. And I'm using a Presto pressure canner today. It does hold 8 pints or 7 quarts to process. I have a larger canner, but since it fit in this one, I'd rather use this one because the other one's pretty darn heavy. Okay, so we don't put the weight on yet. I'm going to bring it up to temperature. Once it starts venting, I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so the vent is coming out, the steam vent now. We'll time that for 10 minutes. And then I'll come back with you and show you the next steps. Okay, my timer's going off. It's vented good for 10 minutes. I put the weight on. And this is what my weight looks like. It's in multi-parts. I have 2 rings and this main part. And for 10 pounds of pressure, which I use in my area, I just put 1 ring on. So now I go ahead and put the weight on. And that's what gauges the pressure in the pressure canner. Once it starts rocking steady, then I need to process the pints for 25 minutes. Okay, so it's steadily rocking now. I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for 25 minutes for pints. If you were doing quarts, it would be for 40 minutes. Okay, so I'll check back. Okay, the timer has gone off, so I have shut the stove off, and I'm going to just let pressure drop in the canner naturally until it's cooled down and the pressure is completely gone. You don't want to try and rush the pressure coming out or it will siphon your jars. So, well, it is the next day and the okra is out of the canner, cooled and ready to put on the pantry shelf. So if you're enjoying this type of video, please subscribe, like, and share our videos on your social media. It's the best way that you can help us to grow our channel. Thank you so much for watching Jimmy Branch Homestead. God bless and take care.